Hello, Commanders. How are you doing today? I hope you all are doing very well. We're in the middle of this Section 31 arc, but I got a question today from Steve in my Discord. Feel free to join Discord. I always put the link for that and other things in my description below. We'll have something about the content in the video, but I also have links for Twitch. If you want to join us on Twitch, just hang out with us, live stream. We have a good time, as well as links for my other videos. If you find this video helpful, by the way, I always put them down below, so feel free to check that out. But anyway, Steve asked a question today. He was finally able to unlock the Revenant, doing the free-to-play sourcing for that, and he's like, I don't know what to do with it. What? Tell me what I need to do. And it's one of those loops that Scopely's come out with that has a number of components to it, and I thought, you know what? I don't know. Sometimes when I release content, I try and come out with videos immediately just to help players out. Like, ooh, let's talk about what the notes say. All right, here's a video about hostiles that you can hit with it and cruise hit with it, which I think you all love. I think that's one of my more popular videos is when I come out with something just to show people new content before they dive into it. Like we just did one of the solo waves, the solo waves that Scopely just came out with, and that was a big hit, right? But anyways, I was looking through my videos and I'm like, I don't know that I have a comprehensive, like, here's the loop, here's all the things that you can kind of watch out for. And I thought, if Steve's just unlocking it now, there's probably others that are now unlocking it or will soon. And so I thought, why don't we do just an overall general view of the loop, and we can talk about it, talk about a couple of things you'll want to watch out for and strategies. Some of it will be a refresher, and I totally get that. But hopefully it'll be something that will help you out, Steve, and help out other people in the community who might be unlocking it soon. Just something to start working on. So can kind of be a refresher as well. So let's go ahead. We'll hop into it. We'll talk about it. But feel free to leave your comments and questions down below. I always read them. I'm going to try and do better about commenting more to them, but I do try and comment as much as I can. But feel free to add to the conversation if I happen to miss something. So let's go ahead. Let's talk about it. Why? Because the players matter. All right, so here we are in game, and just one last plug here, if you don't know, or if you don't mind. I know we've already got a couple minutes in the video and we haven't touched anything on it, but I like those little intros because it tells you all what I'm going to talk about. But one last thing is, if you are new to the channel or haven't subscribed, it really does help. We're at a little bit over 1,900. I think it was 1,916 subscribers so far on YouTube. Doesn't cost you a thing, but it does help kind of get my videos out to more people, which I truly appreciate. So if you're one of those that hasn't subscribed yet, it really does help with getting the videos out, and hit that bell notification so you know when I release new content as well as you want to. Okay, so let's hop in. Let me pull up the ship. We'll just get the ship out and we'll have a look at it. We'll talk about the basics of the ship really quick here. There we go. So my Revenant is tier 8. Probably don't need to do that, but if we look at it, it's going to increase Chaos Tech module resources gained from the Q continuum hostiles by whatever % based upon the level of your ship, and then increases base damage against the hostiles by whatever %. Okay, so as a reminder, the first thing that I want to talk about here is that you want to go to the system, and there we go. It's right here, just this horizontal area right next to Federation space. Okay, so you can come here and you can hit the hostiles. So let's just go to one of these systems. Just takes a few seconds to go out there. We'll prepare the other ship while we're waiting. So that's the first thing, and while it's going out there, before we pull up the hostiles, we'll open up the refinery real quick. So the first thing you want to do is you want to be able to hit the hostiles And then here in the refinery, we'll talk about some of these points of interest here. But as you can see, I have a fair amount of the solo loot, but we'll talk about that. So here, you're going to want to hit the hostiles, and you'll get the loot you get from the hostiles to do your turn-ins here. So you're getting stuff for like the chaos material to upgrade chaos tech, which will become important as you're able to free to play and unlock some more of that. If you're not doing it free to play, it certainly will help you if you already have some chaos tech modules unlocked. So here's the hostiles here. Assimilated forum class, they all have I think have a different name based upon, see, there's a Corn class and so forth. So increases this isolate damage. So it's going to punch hard on combat start, applies morale to itself for the rest of combat. So they're going to hit hard. And if I remember right, each one of these on the type, like this one here, is going to cause hull breach, critical chance by whatever percent. So they're all a little bit different based upon what status they're going to trigger. But with the increase of damage and the increase to the loot that you're going to get these items right here, cast modules, and I have plenty of those. They're super easy to stock up on once you get the ship. I did end up buying this during the arc, so I could show it off and start working on it. I also saw the huge benefit with some of the turn-ins, so reaping the benefits of that over the last few months absolutely has been, in my opinion, worth it for me. But once again, as a content creator, I want to be able to share it with you. So that's the first thing that you kind of want to think about when you're hitting these armadas. The second thing is you have to hit these Borg type whatevers, okay? These solo armadas. These are individual armadas here. Let's see here. So on the second weapon of every round, it fires its cutting beam, dealing lethal damage to the enemy. Okay. 3 ship versus 1, blah, blah. Let's see how well you perform at pressure. 1 versus 1. So you can only join this with one. Trying to think where it shows that. Oh yeah, right there. 0 out of 1. So you can only join it with one ship. So you want to do this with the Revenant. The success I have had is if you hit armadas in the main path here. So we're talking about Novacron, Ephemeris, Briker, and so forth. If we look here, for example, let's look at one of these. So this is a Borg type 3.1, and the loot you're getting is 3792. So let's hop into one of the offshoot systems here. And there is a main difference. They're tougher, a lot tougher. Okay, we're almost there. There we go. So the Borg solos here are going to be a lot tougher. If you see, it says Borg type 3.2. 10,000 loot. So you get a ton more loot from beating these. But the problem is that on combat start, this increases apex barrier by 30,000. So one thing that might be different, I'd have to look and see if any of the research kind of applies to this, but the apex shred that just came out does is kind of offset to apex barrier. But before that, how I would overcome this is I would use a crew of TNG, so the next generation Picard, Beverly, and so with their combined synergy increases the effectiveness of the other officer on the bridge. So I'd go Picard, Beverly, and then I would put Gwen DeMarco, as I call it on my stream, Gwen Stefani. And if we open up, let me show you the officers really quick here. See if I can find Gwen without a sword. There we go. DeMarco. So Gwen DeMarco increases isolate cascade damage against armadas and invading entities. Mine is tier 1, so 70%. Okay. And so what the strategy here is that you're amplifying significantly the amount of damage you're doing with the isolatic damage you're doing by having Picard, Beverly, and their ability increases Gwens. So for me, that was the best crew that I found when I was trying to hit these tougher armadas for the higher loot. And obviously it's working for me because I've maxed out my directives, and I have plenty of loot from the solo armadas. Okay. So that is a strategy. This is the second thing you have to do, is you have to hit those Borg solos. If anyone has another crew, you want to let me know what works best for you, please put in the comments down below. Now, I have tried something like Chakotay, Janeway, Miles, Benjamin Sisko Miles, various crews that people have offered, but I haven't used one personally that has worked better than Next Generation Picard, Beverly, and DeMarco. This video is already getting to, a little bit long here, so appreciate you holding out this long. I know that I'll just touch on this really quick here. I made a whole video, I think, about Gwen DeMarco and her effectiveness on these. I know Gwen DeMarco is hard to source. The best advice I can give on that is you can get a few shards from, the invading entity with the chimeras and all that. They're supposed to have one of those, I think, every single month. You can't get too many, it's only a few, and you have to decide if you're going to spend on that or say on the beryllium spheres to upgrade your NSEA protector. So that's up to you, but I think Gwen DeMarco is fantastic. Really has helped me punch up on these armadas, even higher than like Scopely and other people have said. They say, well, if you have a tier 1, this is how high you should be able to hit. Well, I've been able to, with these crew selections, be able to kind of break the barrier on that. And part of that honestly has to do with conversations I've had with the great community I'm building in Discord. So feel free to join us down in the description. I'll make sure there's a link down there for Discord. But fantastic community that really we're developing, growing, and helping each other get better at this game and find other strategies for winning. So anyways, there's also solo leaderboards that they come out with once in a while, it seems like. Or if you can strategize, I won't cover it in this video, but hit me up on Discord if you want some additional advice. But you can also watch out for some of the heroic Syndicate XP if you're careful on when you time your spending of that stuff. I've been able to get to the 2nd or 3rd tier in some of them, and last month I was able to get, luckily, and I think I had to use some event currency to do it, but I got to the 3rd tier, and the 3rd tier gave me like 15 shards for DeMarco. So there's obviously some stuff they've added to the game to kind of help with that. Okay. I've harped on that enough. Hopefully that kind of covers that topic. If you have any more questions on that, let me know. The third one, which to me is a little bit more difficult. I think it's going to start to become more feasible as people are starting to unlock it and get their revenants tiered up. So hit up those in your alliance who already have revenants. But what you want to do, the third thing here you want to do with your revenant, is you want to hit these Borg polygons. Oh, let me talk about the refinery real quick. So in the continuum, where you're going to turn in is this Borg type exchange with your solo credits. You're going to turn in there. I'm at the point where I'm punching up enough that I am now able to do the double turn-ins every single day. So that's what you want to work towards. You're going to get a lot of goodies in there, speed ups, materials, and so forth. You're also going to get these, what they call them, fabricator chips, and you can turn those in here. Okay. But one of the big things here is you want to be able to max this out because you're going to get parts that you need to upgrade your revenant. Okay. So we'll come back to this in a second. Okay, so you're going to want to try and hit these Borg polygons. The higher that you can hit, the better. I have found that if you do the Borg polygons in the main track, as high as you can get, you'll get a decent amount. But if you can go, you can actually look at the loot you're getting per armada, but you can actually look at it and you can hit in one of the offshoot systems, so not along the main path, and you can actually get more credits even though you're going to a lower system because you're hitting a tougher target. And so watch out for that. That's something that you can look at as well. So the credits you get from those, you can hop back into here and you can do the Borg polygon exchange. This has been like a frustrating point for me, is not enough people have unlocked it, at least up to this point, so I need to maybe focus on this more. But if you have enough people in your alliance that have the Revenant, you can start hitting those. You can start doing turn-ins. They give more parts, and there's a cooldown for this stuff as well, but it's going to give you speed ups and other goodies in there too. So those are the three things. You hit the hostiles for loot. You hit the Borg solos for loot, credits there, armada credits, and then you also hit the polygons. Remember, the Borg solos is this first one, this right here. Okay, the one I have a cooldown on. The credits you get from the polygons are group armadas, and that's this other one I don't have enough credits for, but I need a lot of credits. Single turn is 100,000. So obviously it's something I'm going to have to try and work on, and hopefully more people in my alliance will start unlocking it. So it depends on your alliance, how many people have it unlocked at what level. You kind of have to play with it and see what you can do on that. You can save those for when they actually have events running for it, or you can just run them whenever. So it's something that, especially since I have maxed my directives, I might as well go out and run some. So that may be something I try and do to maximize this more. But those are the three things. Okay. Last thing to mention for those who don't know is that there are certain tiers at which you are supposed to scrap this. And you do not want to scrap it beforehand if you're going to be as efficient as possible. So the point you're going to want to watch out for is when you get it to tier 5 for your first scrap, you'll want to scrap it at tier 5, and I suggest not doing any upgrades. So get it to tier 5 and then you can scrap it. So don't spend any more of your stuff on it for upgrades. So tier 5, tier 10, or I should say, I guess that's level. I'm calling it tiers. I apologize. So 5, 10, and 15 are the ship levels in which you want to scrap this ship. And I don't remember, it didn't seem like the scrap was that long for me. I have done some scrapping research along the way, so maybe that's a little bit different for you, but I don't think the scrap took too long. One cool thing you get is you'll get some kind of tokens when you do the scrap that give you some significant rewards that will help move your game along. So I think for me, it has like a one-time gift, which a bunch of stuff, like for me, it's going to give, oh yeah, I almost forgot about this, that when, we'll talk about that in a second. So it's going to give a one-time rewards with a whole bunch of goodies. It's also going to give you these daily rewards, which is pretty cool. So you get 10 days of rewards. I think it probably depends upon your ops level, probably. Polygon loot, just all this stuff. So you can go in there and you can look at it, which I think is pretty cool. But one thing that you want to remember is, let's see here. I know with the Mark II that, let's hop into refits and let's have a look at that, because that was important before I did any upgrades. Sorry, the long video, for those of you who don't like long videos, I apologize, but there's a lot I want to cover in here to make sure you all have the information on this. Let me see if I can find it. I thought, horrible at finding stuff in here. There we go. So Mark II Revenant increases the shots by 10 against Borg Type 3 and polygons. Revenant upgrade parts by 500% cost efficiency. So when you do upgrade your, make sure you look at the refits that you get. Because, for example, I actually ended up doing a few upgrades, and I was like, oh, I forgot about the refit. Okay, so when you do recycle it, scrap it, you want to make sure that the first thing you do before you do any upgrades is look at this, make sure you have this. I haven't looked at the other refits, but I know definitely with this one, and I'm assuming it's probably the same or similar to the others, I'm hoping, but definitely with this one, make sure you put this refit, unlock it, put it on your ship, blah, 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 for the extra shots and everything. But yeah, unlock this thing. Go in and unlock it before you do any upgrades to make sure you're getting that efficiency boost. So I don't think I don't think, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below, but I don't think if you scrap it, I think you still have to unlock it first before that will apply. So just one more thing to watch out for. And I think that covers it. So a lot of different tips I've thrown out during this video. We're almost at 20 minutes now. I know that people tend not to watch long videos, especially if they're like, dude, just get to the point. But I try to cover in a way that's helpful for players who just want the short information. But there's a lot of information out there for players who want to see the whole thing from top to finish or top to bottom, covering all the different points and things you want to watch out for in strategy. So Steve, in summary, you want to do three things. You want to hit the hostiles, you want to do the solo armadas, and you want to do the group. So those are the three main things you want to do, but there was a lot of different tips and advice I threw out there. So hopefully that's helpful. Alrighty, so that's the end of the video. Once again, thank you for watching. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Leave your comments and questions down below, and we will catch you next time.